Well, greetings to all of you travelers out there, and of course all of you Corvette builders. It's me, Kevin C. here yet again with another tutorial. This is the updated, better, more accurate version of the round hab build for your UFO style builds or any other build that you can make using this technique. The original technique for this, while it worked, was not very accurate. I discovered a way to do this a bit more accurately and a little quicker. This will allow you to do an 8, 16, even a 32, but past 16 you're going to eat through your parts very quickly, and I think it's not really worthwhile. And the 32 can get a little wonkier just because the reference points are a little bit, I'll call it blurrier, a little less accurate, I guess. A little harder to find. But with that said, let's get right into this. It will take a little bit of time. I'm going to show you how to also double up your circle in order to flip your parts. Remember, everything we are doing is for scaffold. None of your habs will be able to be entered if the room is doubled or in a circle. I'm trying to connect it so that we have a circular walk around, but I still haven't found it yet, if it exists at all. They may have made the part so that you can't. But anyway, it's going to take a few minutes, so get comfortable, sit down, strap in, and let's get started. Alright, first we're going to start with, as per usual, a new Corvette. Oh, and let me also say that this is non-edited. So all my ahs, and repeatable stuff is going to be in here. I might try to edit it and pick up some of the speed on the boring stuff, but I'm not very good at it, so you may be stuck with what you get here. All right, let's get into this. All right, first we're going to do the usual. We're going to lay down our launch thrusters. We're going to do and build ourselves a basic Corvette as usual. Very simple, very easy, nothing overly complicated. We're just trying to get it so that we can save our edits. So we're going to do our basics here. Throw in that landing bay. And we just need, right there will work. Perfect. We've got our ship. Alright, we're going to just save this, get it out of the way, just so that we can make sure that we save. Saving is super important. I don't know how many times I've lost an hour of work because I didn't save properly. It's a little difficult on Corvette building, but we'll figure it out. Okay, you're going to rebuild this again. You could do this a little easier. I just wanted to save this point. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to drag this over, and I'm going to drop it down 1. And we're going to rebuild our ship a little further out. We're going to keep it because we're going to be constantly going back and forth and saving things. Alright, the reason I moved this ship is we're going to now build a platform for our circle. Okay, so we're going to do about, let's do 2 per side, and then we're just going to lay in a bunch of these. Again, this is all going to be scaffold. None of this will stay. We need this platform to take our character and walk around. Now you want to find your center point here. You're going to just keep an eye on that. Then we're going to go over to our radar dome now. Before, we used the cargo link, but I noticed that the window was never quite straight on to the angle, which is due to your character's position on the part, since we don't have a build camera for this portion. Now you can build a snappable circle on terrain. Beeble has been doing that, but has corrupted saves. He is putting out a tutorial, but is going to warn people that it could corrupt your save. So currently, as far as we know, this is one of the safer ways to make a circle. So let's get into it some more. All right, so you got a platform. You've got the radar dome in the center. We're going to, oh no, did I just, oh, they fixed soft lock? Ooh, I almost soft locked there. All right, that would have been a drag. All right, we're going to add in our landing gear and the access way, just so that we have it. And that way we can save whenever we need to here, which is very important, especially now when you're going to do a lot of manual placement. That is super, super important. Okay, so we're going to back out. We're going to apply our edits. We're going to head on over. And we're going to kind of take a look at what we're doing here. So this radar dome, as you can see, has all these lines around it. And it's good reference. And that's what we're going to be using. These lines right here. There's one spot that's a little tricky, which is this big bumpy part here, but we'll get into that in a minute. We'll start on the other side. So once you have all this, you're going to get into third person view. And you're going to turn on your torch. Very important. So that you can see your reference. Now, I don't have fancy editing stuff, and even if I did, I wouldn't know how to use it, so hopefully I will explain and describe exactly what's going on here well enough for you to understand. But if you don't, please feel free to hit me up on my Discord. Same name. Okay, so we're going to see a line here. We're going to see a bunch of what I call Roman numerals 2 underneath. You can see that under there. Or some Stonehenge looking parts. And then this thick line right up here. If you'll notice, this thick line and this line, we're going to try to move our character, and I use a controller, so our left stick left and right until those lines are all lined up. And I'll get close, you can see sort of a notch here. You want to sort of line all this up right about... It's a little tricky with the controller. You're moving your left stick left and right, getting your character to be sort of centered. And once you're satisfied with the lineup, which can get a little finicky, especially with the ships flying around. But now we're lined up. You can see this line is going through here to here, right? Now, you're going to get into your build, scroll over to your window, get a paneled window, or whichever one you like. I like the paneled window. It doesn't stick out. It's nice and flat. Well, as flat as it can get. And then, free placement. Make sure you're still lined up, because the ships actually will kind of vibrate you out of position sometimes, which is not very nice. Make sure you're lined up again. And after you do this a few times, it usually gets a little easier. And if you're not trying to create a video and explain as you go, it's a lot faster. All right, we're pretty lined up there. We're going to come to the seam where the bottom and the top of the dome meet. I'm going to put my cursor right in the middle of that. And then I'm just going to place the window. And then I'm going to repeat this process over and over again And the first run you will get an 8-sided. Now this is the one tricky one. I've been using this highlight as sort of my center. So I kind of get that as centered as I can. Bring in my cursor right to that seam line. And you can actually kind of see a little X there if you get in close, or if you have better eyes than I do. And right about, get up there, right about there should work. Boom. And we're going to go to our next point. And I usually try to do my compass points, my north, south, east, west first. And there, yeah, see, nice and lined up. It didn't take too long. Again, you can get as finicky as you want. You can, take a ton of time to line this up to get it as perfect as you would like. But this, no matter what, is much better than the other part that we used to have, the cargo link there. I'm going to do that. Run around to the next side. Now your first run will get you an 8-sided, and then your second run will get you the 16, and so on. You're basically doing 8 at a time here. So nice and lined up. Drop my cursor in. Try to get that as even as I can. And this is going to determine your height. So I'm trying to get the height nice and level as well. Not just left-right positioning, but we want to try to keep it as flat as possible so that your final product won't look as wonky. I know this is going to take some time, so hope you got a munchie and a beverage. I got my coffee. I'm doing this tutorial this morning before my live stream. I feel that a better circle, because I'm starting to see more and more UFOs. But I'm thinking that this might help make your UFO even better. I wish they would give us more parts. I think we definitely need more than 100 to truly do anything really creative. But we'll take what we can get with this great new build mechanic. It is definitely still buggy. There are a lot of things that we still need to, have addressed. I'm hoping they will start to kind of pay a bit more attention to even the terrain building mechanic, since that is in need of some help as well. So again, you can kind of see now how this thicker line is way off here to the right. This line here on the bottom, this thinner, is off to the left. I'm going to move my character over to the right. We're going to line those two up by moving my left stick left and right. Once you have those lined up, bring that cursor in, pop, and then we drop that window in, and we're going to do the same again, over and over and over and over again. 8 to 16 times, and if you're crazy like I was once, 32. All right, let's get that in there. Pop. All right. That should take it up to our 8, and it certainly does. All right, we're going to back out of the build. We're going to make sure we're heading to the right platform here. And we're going to get in, modify, and now we're going to take a hab. And this is where you make your decision on whether or not you want your hab in this direction or in that direction. For these purposes, we're going to go in this direction. All right. Now we're going to just drop in a hab on each one of these windows. And we're going to drag that out one. Allowing us to delete this one here. And of course, we need to make sure that everything is connected. Usually I'll put one here. That usually takes care of it. Sometimes it does not. All right, because it's a collision bubble that they're detecting on whether or not, these parts are connected. So then once you have drawn your circle out, you're going to save your edit. You're then going to come back in and you're going to start your next angle for your 16. So, and that you can kind of go between these two and you'll see it right here. And you're going to repeat the same process. You're going to line those lines up as close as you can. Like that. Drop in your cursor right on the seam. It's that black line between, the top and the bottom of the dome parts. Oh, and you're going to do that probably once or twice. I know I do it more than once or twice. Now that you have your window ready, we're going to actually readjust. I think we kind of came out of position with that ship flying by us. And again, you're lining that line up to just get in the middle of everything there. In between those two thicker points. And drop that in. And then you just go around and repeat. I try to do each opposing side. It just helps me, keep lined up a little bit easier so I know where I am. All right, we're going to repeat. Lather, rinse, repeat. Always repeat. Homer Simpson. Now, this is manual placement. So will this be perfect? No. Will it be a whole lot better than it was in the last version? Yes. This is much more accurate. Looks a lot better. And I think will help create some better UFOs. All right, here we go. Get those lined up. Now, our last tutorial was a live stream, and we actually discovered this better technique during that live stream. We were using the old method to, kind of do a live tutorial. And I was using the older part. And during that, I realized it wasn't working very well. So I decided that we would look around and see if we had anything else to use as reference. Turned out that this was the only other real round part we could use, which also looks tilted, but I think that's the camera. Once you do your 4 sides, now you can kind of find your middle point a lot easier. But if you see here, we've also got that and that as reference. So, you can start to see where your 32 would be. And let's get this one lined up. The little noise you heard was my phone. So, see, I'm just trying to get everything little, the character moves a little slidey. So sometimes it can get a little finicky just trying to get your character lined up. With the amount of ships that I've never seen in any space station. I've never seen a space station this busy since the ship update, the Corvette update. Ships constantly flying in and out. Used to hunt for ships waiting around for hours for even like 2 ships to show up. Now they're constantly running into your space station as you're trying to build. Shaking everything around. May want to turn the camera shake off. I'm actually thinking about doing that myself. And come on there. And like I said, this can get a little finicky. So I apologize for the length of this tutorial. But I felt was sort of the best way to kind of do this was to just do it. So you could continually see, the reference and kind of get an idea in case you weren't quite understanding what I was explaining, because I can't, take an arrow and point to a certain area of the screen. I have not figured out how to do a video edit yet like that, so we got to do it this way. Alrighty, and no music or anything. What the heck, guy, huh? You call yourself a professional builder? Can't even make a good tutorial. Alright, and then pop. And it looks like we got them. Alright. Now, actually, I still feel this is faster than the other way. Believe it or not, it is. And let's just make sure we got them all. Yep, looks like we got everything. Now we're going to back out of our build menus. Come back over. Get in here. Modify. And now we're going to bring in our next set of habs. And this will be your 16. This is really, in my opinion, the biggest you should go. 16 is still really pushing it. It will take, use up a decent amount of parts, especially if you do any double up like I'm gonna. But the main reason for switching to this newer, setup part was to get the circle to be flat. The other method I noticed, the habs were raised and lowered. They were not as flat and even as this, which, is going to affect your final product. And they weren't as spaced out as properly. But if we look here, everything looks pretty darn even. Got a couple of cuts that are a little bit wider, and you can fix any one of these that you're not happy with. But to be honest, everything looks pretty darn consistent as you go around. And that could just be my perspective, because now that I'm going around, these V-cuts actually all look about the same size. But we're going to apply our edits. We're going to get our regular camera out. And we're just going to kind of go above just to take a peek at what we got. And if you can see that all of the angles are now lined up appropriately with each of the spots, and we'll show that again in just a moment. But if you look over here, this is now lined up to these little extra pads. See how we're nice and in that area. Before, they were all twisted when you brought it out to this point, and everything lines up to the other, lines in the on the floor reference. All right, now we're going to delete our platform because we no longer need it. But you can bring your platform in at any point. And if you need to redo something, you accidentally delete a part, you can bring your reference back in pretty easily and just start again. The reason I did it like this and didn't use the launch thrusters was this radar dome will not stick to the launch thruster, and I wanted to bring the whole setup down so that later you're not so high up that you have to figure out how to integrate your launch thrusters into your build. All right, so we're going to delete all of this. Making sure to just stay attached like so. All right, now we're going to double up all of these rooms so that we can flip our parts around. So what I've been doing is bringing all this in like so. Because we need to hold these parts. And then we're going to do one on the outside. Yes, you may end up breaching your build limit while you are using your scaffold. Remember, it is scaffold. You're just going to be using certain parts. You will go back later and delete all of this and just use, and build some rooms in your design. All right, once you have this, you're going to back out again, apply your edits. You're going to jump up here, and now we're going to do the double up hab trick. So you're going to want to go in the middle one here, or the second one from the outside of your circle. You're going to walk around the inner part here. So you're going to grab your now you're going to grab your internal stairway, and you're just going to walk around and drop it into each one of these here. And then once you do that, just make sure you've gotten all of them. You should have something that looks like this. Back out. Back over to the workstation. Modify. Now you're going to need to add a hab to the top of where you just put your stairs. And that's to keep the stairs from disappearing when you rotate, so that you can actually rotate, because you need to lift that room. And if you don't have something on top, the stairs will disappear and you will not be able to rotate the hab. You get in here, drop a room up on top like so. Then you're gonna get in here, and the first one's always the tricky one. But once you get this one out of your way, it's a lot easier. So you're gonna kind of sneak in here, grab that middle hab, move it, rotate it, place it, copy this one, and you'll see that little shimmery effect. Drop that in, then delete your top and where your ladder and that hab were. Now you can get at the next one a lot easier. So you're going to pick that up, rotate it once, place it, copy, and that should just drop in most of the time like it did right there. Drop in, and then delete, delete, and repeat. Pick up, rotate, place, copy, place, delete, delete, and repeat. Delete, delete, repeat. And, oh, no, continue. Copy, place, delete, delete, rotate, place, copy, place, delete, delete. Pick up, rotate. You can even pick this one up and then just drop it into that if you want. Boom, like so. I don't recommend that because every once in a while you might not have rotated properly, and you may have to redo that one. So I usually just rotate copy, place, delete, delete. And then just a few more times. Rotate, place, copy, place, delete, delete, pick up, rotate, copy, place, delete, delete. See, I'm going to get this in your head too, like I did for me. Pick up, rotate, place, copy, place, delete, delete. Only 4 more to go. Excuse me. And rotate, boop, copy, place, delete, delete, pick up, rotate, place, copy, place, continue up, delete, delete, 1 more. No, I lied, 3 more. Delete. And place. Stop doing that. So used to the old mechanic. Are we on the last one? We are on the last one. And there you got. Now, delete all these. Boom, 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 boom. And this will help with your part count. And now you can just move this around and do what you need. Like I might even bring it in another one. Just kind of get a little tighter circle. The wider you get, the harder it is and the more parts you are going to use in order to get something that's a little more complete looking. And you can use part of this setup, and just move these around as you need them. Eventually you will go over your build limit by doing this. So just get your basic, get your shapes all done. See, now I accidentally deleted. This will happen on occasion. So you just set up. See how I accidentally deleted that one room? And you know that you've deleted one because you can stack on top. So you just fix that, right? So we know we deleted that by accident. That's a bummer. Please tell me we didn't just delete another one. I didn't think so. Or did we? Yeah, so we deleted that one. Notice how I can't get a second one in there. Here we're fine. So you just repeat your process here and fix whatever mistake you may have made. And you can always double check to see what you've deleted by accident. But that's it. That's the basics. But these things will happen to you on occasion where you might accidentally delete one of your habs, your double ups. You can always put it back. It's usually relatively easy to do so just by, just going back. Oop, all of our modules are not connected apparently. Put one so you know where you are. Get your setup ready to reintroduce that second hab. Your stairs, drop those in. So if you ever notice your part isn't flipping, it means you more than likely did what I do on an occasion, is accidentally delete one of your habs. Drop that. thankfully, we can just do that. And now you can take your parts that don't flip and run it across and make some fun, crazy stuff. There are multiple positions that you can pick up with this, so you can do a couple of different angles, and, make different shapes, use different parts. I mean, all of that. But the more parts you use and the cooler you want your design, and the more likely you're going to go through your 100 parts very quickly. There you have it. Much better. And I'm going to kind of bring this in just to show you what another way you know that you've gotten a better circle is you can bring all of this in. And you can already see from the last method how much flatter and cleaner the circle looks, much more symmetrical. It's not as, the last method you could see, the different seams kind of all over the place. But here, it's nice and flat. Everything seems to be nice and symmetrical. Is it 100% perfect? No. It is manual placement. And then we'll delete all the ones on the outside again. You always want to make your holder, You cannot move currently a part without deleting it. So the move section of doing this, like on terrain building, is not not the same at the moment. If you move something, it will delete your part. It will not move it. Then if we look on the sides, we can see, how consistent the edge is here. And everything looks nice and consistent, nice and symmetrical. Again, all the lines are lining up to the lines in the floor. Right there. See how this line comes down to here. And if we look at this section, this is lining up to here now. It did not before. And we just have a much cleaner, tighter circle, much more symmetrical. You can see in the design here just how the pattern is with the parts. Everything looks lined up. But then if you want to just double, triple check, you can take a part like, this one here. And let's make it blue and white for fun. And you can lay that down on top of this. Which gets a little finicky, but it does. It does happen. You've got a bunch of, and that's another neat little thing, but we'll get into that at another time. That little double up thing that was happening right there. Kind of interesting for some stuff. But 100 parts just isn't enough. We need more parts. And now we can sort of take a look here. And we have a nice, and we'll get into our regular camera for this. Apply our edits. Go into a regular camera. And you can see a nice consistency here. All the divots all look the same. We have a nice, diamond shape in there. Yes, there will be some inconsistencies. It is manual placement. But this is a far superior circle than my last method. I really hope this helps you all out and get you some better Corvette designs. or U.F.O style designs. Or just using this curve and, being able to manually place some of these parts to get you any kind of, interesting and different shape, to add to your Corvette. Okay, that's pretty much it, my friends. Much better, updated version of the circle method. I hope this helps you. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me on my Discord. I am always checking messages, so please feel free to join. Show me what Corvettes you've got going on, what U.F.O you've built, or if you've used this method to create a different design. I would love to see it. We have a Corvette showroom. Well, that's it. Hope you stuck around. Until the next tutorial, this has been me, Kevin C. here at Action Pants Gaming, wishing all of you out there in the No Man's Skyverse a little bit of love, peace, and starship grease. Get your action pants on, get out there, start building some wild and wacky stuff. Until the next time, take care, y'all. We'll see you soon. Bye, everybody. And let me do one of these crazy waves. Take care, y'all. Thank you so much. And don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment, and all that jive. I'm trying to get up to 2,000 subscribers. We're almost there after 9 years. All right. Take care, y'all. Thank you so much. See you soon. I know, I just repeated myself, but hey, it's all life. Take care.